News 46 is brought to you by Bees Embroidery and Garment Printing, specializing in custom and personalized decoration of gifts, garments, and more. Call 775-727-9444. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight on News 46, new information is revealed concerning a structure fire.
The local disabled American veterans lend a helping hand.
And meet an accomplished artist and author at Sanders Family Winery. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Monique Mitchell and Eunette Gentry. Local coverage from Deanna O'Donnell. News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, March 30th, 2016. I'm Monique Mitchell.
And I'm Eunette Gentry for News 46.
Well, Fire Chief Scott Lewis updates us on a house fire that occurred on Black Street. The owner is said to have been suffering from dementia and wasn't sure how the fire started. He luckily was living at his daughter's home at the time. No injuries were reported as a result of the fire.
It's still under investigation, and it appears that we're still looking in the area of an electrical origin on that fire, and the investigation continues. However, we're finding it difficult to actually nail down the exact ignition source as a result of it, because there was so many different electrical issues within the structure itself.
And the resident wasn't living there at the time, were they?
Correct. They were living elsewhere or in Pahrump with family.
They had some medical issues?
There was some medical issues. However, it was not relevant to the fire. It was just something that actually prompted them to reside with their family members.
All right. And then, so you're still looking into it, but at this point, definitely accident?
Yeah, there's no indicators suggesting that it was an intentional act, so most likely it will be an accidental, undetermined. It will be the final determination.
The Pahrump Regional Planning Commission is going to do some more research on the use of the rapid infiltration basin systems after the county commissioners decided to reverse an approval of a conditional use permit for Utilities Incorporated to construct them in the ponds already inside Discovery Park. Pahrump and Nye County already have several ribs in place and being used at this time. The Nye County Water District Governing Board made a motion that suggested the RPC investigate the use of effluent water for irrigation purposes and research if there's a way to increase the distance between effluents introduced to the aquifer. The county commissioners said they would relook at the issue and don't think they had enough information when the ribs were approved in January.
And now here's this week's court report.
In this week's court report, the Pahrump man arrested following allegations of child molestation stood before a judge in Justice Court this morning. Brian Patrick Hearn is accused of molesting two children who are ages 8 and 12 following a forensic interview at the Nye County Child Advocacy Center in Pahrump. The suspected juvenile victims allege 30-year-old Hearn sexually assaulted them during 4 accounts over the past 18 months. Following the claims, investigating NCSO detectives searched Hearn's residence and found physical evidence that corroborated both victims' statements. Hearn has been charged with 4 counts of sexual assault with a child under 14, 2 counts of child abuse, and 2 counts of lewdness with a child under 14. He remains in custody on $230,000 cash or bond. Hearn's preliminary hearing is scheduled for April 6th. Charges are still pending for the local woman who was arrested after striking an on-duty security guard at the Grove. Deborah Sunderland was taken into custody for suspicion of driving under the influence on Thursday. Court clerks say that although no charges have been filed at this time, Sunderland has an arraignment hearing set for May 24th. The Nye County woman charged with arson after reportedly plowing her vehicle into the VFW post made a plea agreement during her arraignment hearing on Monday. Susan Gail Koski entered a plea of no contest to the charge of first-degree arson. The court then informed Koski that her no contest plea will be treated as a guilty plea for sentencing purposes. Thomas Vick, president of Veterans Post number 10054, stands by allegations in a complaint filed in district court, which states that Koski's actions caused severe damage and shut down parts of the Veterans Post's operations. Koski's attorney, Harry Gensler, made an oral motion for Koski's OR release, which was granted by the court. Koski is scheduled for sentencing on July 18th. The jury trial began Tuesday for Diane Davis regarding charges of burglary, obtaining and using personal ID, and offering false instrument for filing. District court clerks say that trial remains ongoing as of this morning. Davis also has charges pending in a separate case in district court in which she is charged with first-degree arson and torturing, injuring, and abandoning animals after a fire inside her home in July 2013, which reportedly killed 17 dogs. That jury trial in the animal abuse case is set for September 6th. This has been your court report. I'm Eunette Gentry for News 46.
Well, folks, keep it here because after this break, we're going to have your Desert View health tip, so don't go anywhere.